mentioned this on one of the last cyber calls you joined us, and I know you talked about it on your last webcast of like, if an organization comes to you as a client and they say, John, can you guys help me get ready for like a nation state attack? I know your answer is, yeah, sure. That was 2 years ago, right? Like just the very nature of you asking means that you're probably really far behind. And so at the risk of beating a dead horse, which I think we should continually do, that means back to the basics, right? So can you just go through the basics again? Because I think it's so important for us to hear.
Well, I think the basics have shifted, right? At the beginning, we were talking about EDR. The EDR is the basics, right? You have to have that endpoint capability that's not just traditional denial listing. But in the class that's down below, I think we have a link for it, and it's pay what you can. It's coming up here shortly. We start with the basic skills of, do you know Windows? Do you know Linux? Do you know networking? You have to know those things, right, just to get started. But then in the actual security class, the intro to security class, we developed something called the atomic controls that were 11 things. So if you look at all of the controls and you take that across 650 assessments that we do per year, and we say, okay, what are the core things that would stop us? It's probably about 11 things. It doesn't mean you can ignore everything else. It's just saying triage right now. We're a little worried about Russia at the moment. Where do I start? And if I was to tell people, okay, the first thing you need to do, inventory all of your systems and your software. Yeah, that's really important. But if you're in triage mode, don't start there. So if you're looking at triage mode, two-factor authentication, long, strong pass phrases. We need to get away from passwords, right? Patching and vulnerability assessment has always been right there. Application allow listing. All of your really good EDR products, really what makes them good is they're excellent at application allow listing. That sounds hard, but in the class, we make it a lot easier. There's just multiple ways to do that. Internet allow listing. Instead of just saying, these are bad sites, these are porn, gambling, and hacking sites, you can basically go down to your uncategorized. It's usually in your filters. It's like something, Cisco has never seen before. You want to uncheck that. Don't allow your users to go to a website that Cisco has never once seen. There's some really basic fundamental things that you can do relatively quickly in your organization that'll make a big impact. Once again, there's still tech debt. There's still that asset inventory, that software inventory. But if you're talking triage, you can boil it down to about 10, 11 things with backup and recovery.